Joining me now is the co-founder and managing director of United We Dream, Cristina Jimenez, and Washington Bureau Chief for BuzzFeed, John Stanton. John, let me start with you here. This delay is not just because the Democrats are overcome by a spirit of goodwill. There is a strategy here, right? And what is it?
I think the basic strategy here is to create more pressure, frankly, for the election in November. You know, I think the White House is looking at this and saying, we give them this extra time, it makes it look more like we are really attempting to try to get comprehensive immigration reform done, even though they know that there's no chance it's going to get done. And then when they finally do something on deportations right before the election, they have a Latino voting base that is already upset with Republicans, that is maybe getting more engaged and more energetic, and then they are able to provide them something, frankly, and make the Republicans look bad right before the election. So I think this is all about, you know, November 2014 and not about really the policy at hand, I think.
Yeah, Cristina, the political calculus seems to be at the root of this. It's fairly, well, to the degree that it's transparent, it's evident that November is a factor here. But what was your reaction to the news that there would be delay in what could be a really meaningful piece of policy for the families who have been split apart in recent months and years?
It's outrageous. Our network, Immigrant Youth all across the country, are outraged, simply outraged, because the president announced a policy review in March. Now they're delaying. And delaying really means that you're supporting the deportation of over 1,000 families every day. As we speak and have this conversation right now, over 1,000 families are being deported. So for us, this is unacceptable, it's outrageous, and it really just fuels our campaign to continue to escalate and pressure the administration and the president to take action on administrative changes.
Yeah, John, you hear that from Cristina's mouth, right? The activist pressure has been pronounced, and it is affected this White House and this president who has not enjoyed the moniker of being the deporter-in-chief. Why promise the release of Jeh Johnson's review in June only to go back on that? I mean, from a strategy perspective, I don't understand that thinking.
I think to a certain degree it reflects a bit of a wrong-headed thinking a little bit in Washington about the makeup of the dreamer community, frankly. I don't think that they understand that for the dreamers and for the families that are affected by this, you know, they're not like any other sort of normal Democratic or Republican constituency where you can sort of string them along a little bit and then give them something at the end of the day. You know, once you're deported and you can't get back, and it's very difficult to get reunited with your family. And the dreamers have shown over and over again that they don't respond very well to the sort of traditional kinds of politicking that go on with a lot of the other kind of constituencies like labor, environmentalists, and I think that's what you're seeing right now, frankly.
Yeah, Cristina, there was an incredibly disturbing piece in the New York Times this weekend that talked about how folks who were being detained in America's immigration centers were basically being used as either indentured servants, in some cases almost as slaves, insofar as they were not being paid for their for the work that they were doing for the U.S. federal government, and in many cases they were not in this country illegally. I mean, when we talk about why it isn't going over well with the dreamers and some of the folks in the advocacy and activist community, it's because there is a human toll that is paid every day. There is a delay in terms of action.
Correct. I mean, we need to be able to hold someone accountable for all of this pain, all of the family separation, all of the violation of due process and rights when people are getting detained and put in deportation proceedings in complete inhumane ways. I mean, the administration has acknowledged that the whole deportation system is inhumane. They promised a change, now they're delaying. It's completely absurd, and we won't stop until we get the administration to make changes. Saying that to give time to Republicans, it's going to lead to immigration reform. For us, the question is, we've been waiting since 2013. Where is the action of Republicans on immigration reform?
John, and when you look at where the Republican caucus is, I mean, today Eric Cantor sent out an amnesty mailer ahead of his primary that read, Barack Obama and Harry Reid pushing amnesty to give illegal aliens a free ride. Eric Cantor is stopping this liberal plan. I mean, the language has atrophied to a remarkable degree given where we were but just a year ago when Marco Rubio was presenting a bipartisan Senate plan.
There has really been a backslide, I think, in the rhetoric and sort of the position of Republicans, no doubt, particularly in the House, where I think that leadership thought that their members were going to be in a much more amenable position at this time of the year. And when it became clear that they weren't, they started to back away and have sort of retrenched to, like you say, 2 or 3 years ago almost in terms of the rhetoric, which has been a little remarkable, frankly.
I will say, as much as one can scold the administration for not doing more, the true fault, the true villains in this story are the House Republicans who refuse to take a vote on this bill. Cristina Jimenez and John Stanton, thank you guys both for your time.
Thank you.
After the break, there is a dark red sky